Hi friends, and welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you some disturbing book recommendations. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Shannon, and I like some disturbing books because why the fuck not? I like horror, I like, deep and depressing, I like squeak you out of your little mind. So I'm here to share some of my favourites with you, some that I recommend. And I've put these in order to lightest to look up every trigger warning, please and thank you. And if you read it without a trigger warning on my recommendation, please do not blame me because I'm telling you to look up trigger warnings. I will tell you which ones that I think really, really need trigger warnings. Also, do you hear that? I don't know. I don't know. Probably said it in a few videos now. I have a new microphone set up. I'm not quite sure how to work it. So there might be a little, transitional period where I try and get my setup the way I want it and learn how to work this microphone. But it has just started pouring of rain outside, so if you hear that, I apologise. Also, though, it could give you a little ambience, kind of fitting with this disturbing book recommendations. Let's get into it, shall we? Starting with the least disturbing to the most disturbing, kicking off this list, we have Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesaire. I always get this, I think I say the last name wrong. This is it. So I think that this is it's one of my favourite YA slashers. So in and of itself, because it's YA, it is like a little more chill on the disturbing factor, but it is nonetheless still disturbing. In this, you follow Quinn, who moves from Philly with her dad to Kettle Springs, but Kettle Springs has an issue. It is like the adults are like wanting nostalgic and wanting the town to run the same way it's always run, and the teenagers are bringing a new generation, bringing youth into a town that is stuck in the past, and they have like a rivalry going, and this kicks off a big them and us situation in a small town, and Quinn walks right on into it. This is a slasher, so if you're into slashers, this is definitely for you. It's not so heavy on the guts and gore, so if you don't like something that goes too far out, then this is where you should sit. I also think if you're looking for a film recommendation on this, there's a film Haunt, and I believe it's now on UK Netflix. So if you read this and enjoy this and want something, to watch after this, watch Haunt. And if you want something more than this disturbing kind of situation, then pick up some other books closer to the top of this list. If you're looking for a fun, fast, entertaining read, I highly recommend this one. The next book I have here is also YA. It's Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, and this is disturbing in another way than Clown in a Cornfield. Like, Clown in a Cornfield's disturbing. A lot of these are disturbing because of the elements of the story. And this one has no guts, no gore, but it does have this really deep-seated, disturbing nature. Because in this, you follow Enchanted, who has a beautiful voice, and she just wants to make a career doing what she loves. And then she meets Cody Fields, who is this big all-time star. And one morning she wakes up and he is dead. And it just is so powerful. And it has elements of R. Kelly's situation. And when I read this, I had just watched the R. Kelly documentary and I was kind of like, ooh, this is kind of familiar. And that's why this book is disturbing in and of itself because of the content, but it's even more disturbing when you realize that Enchanted is someone that exists. I believe, well, definitely you do know that, women and girls have went through a situation like this, so there definitely exists. But I drew parallels between this and one of the women that were talking out when the R. Kelly situation was going on, and it made this book just impact me so much. Tiffany D. Jackson is a great writer, and I do believe that she does say that this is not, it's not Yeah, yeah. In the thing last, mute motherfucking R. Kelly. So I feel like I should thank my therapist. Yeah, so I drew a lot of conclusions between this and the R. Kelly situation, and actually in the acknowledgements of this book, Tiffany D. Jackson says mute motherfucking R. Kelly. So I do believe there's parallels there. Go in go into this protecting your heart, because this is, something that is happened and is still happening, and it's just Tiffany D. Jackson has a way with words and a way to make you feel just so destroyed, and that was this book for me. Also, Monday's Not Coming, which I don't own a copy of. I'm waiting, so I'm finding the hardcovers so that I have all of Tiffany D. Jackson's work in hardcover. And Monday's Not Coming is really hard to find in hardcover. Oh, and allegedly. Actually, all three of these books, I'm going to throw them two on screen and put them in as honourable mentions. All of these books are disturbing and sad and pull at your heartstrings and just make you want to cuddle everyone and make sure everyone's okay. So yeah, I'm going to put those two as honourable mentions, but if you're looking for something that is heartbreaking, this one. Moving up on this list, we have number 1098, which is Creep by Jennifer Hillier. And I think this is disturbing in the sense of stalking in and of itself is disturbing. And, when you follow, I have hair stuck somewhere. When you follow someone that is being stalked, you automatically put yourself in that person's shoes. And this is what I done with Sheila. Sheila is a psychology professor, and she is also an expert on human behavior. And she is having an affair with Ethan Wolfe, who is her grad student, and then she's also like engaged to get married. So when he proposes, she cuts things off with Ethan, but Ethan doesn't give up that easy, and he starts to blackmail her and stalk her and her like fiance. And really, what is disturbing about this is Jennifer Hillier has a way of making you get in your head about things. Like, I could have easily put you in this place because I did enjoy you, and I'm not continuing with the series. Total tangent. This is a recommendation. I'm just giving you all the information. I could have put you in this position because they both follow stalkers, and you is very disturbing because it speaks to the audience like they are the stalking victim. But the reason that I picked this one is because Jennifer Hillier is not afraid to go there. When she needs to, she will, and she does in the third act of this book, which, heightens up the creepiness all round. I do plan to read the sequel. It's just getting my hands on some books are really hard. Like, I bought this second hand, and I'm trying to get the second one second hand also, but right now it's like over 20 quid for a paperback to get the second one, and I don't want to pay that, so I'm just waiting for it to come to a reasonable price, and then I will buy the sequel, because this leaves off in kind of like a aha moment, it leaves off on a like, oh my god, what's going to happen next moment. I need to know, like, where are we, where's it going, what's going to happen. And even though I haven't jumped right into the sequel, I would have jumped right into the sequel if I could find it for a reasonable price. If you're looking for something that is a psychological thriller about stalking that has, is not afraid to go into the dark places, then I would recommend this one. This one doesn't have any real guts or gore that I remember. Like, I would say this one is like, if there is, it's on the really, really mild side. It's more of a psychological disturbing than a guts and gore disturbing. The next one I have is Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, and I'm going to honourable mention Sharp Objects and, no, my goodness, not Gone Girl, because I don't really like Gone Girl. I preferred the film. Oops. But the other three I really enjoyed. Maybe if I went back and read Gone Girl, because I tried to read Gone Girl before I got back into like the way I read now. So maybe if I gave it a second shot, it would work. But the reason I'm putting this one on the list is because this is disturbing on a few different levels. In this, you follow Libby Day, who in her youth when she was a child. Her whole family was massacred. In this, you follow Libby Day, who in her youth as a child, her whole family was massacred, and you have no idea who done it, but her brother got put away for it, so you assume that it was her brother Ben Day. And the reason that this is disturbing is because of the end, and I can't say anything more than that. You have to read it to understand why this is so disturbing, because there's innocent lives lost, and there's this moment at the end of this book where you go, fuck, that's harsh. That's harsh. And I can't say why it's so disturbing, but trust me, if you read this and get to the end, you will be disturbed, because I can't. Okay. Read this, get to the end, or watch the film even. The film's pretty good as well. And get to the end and tell me that it's not a disturbing ending. The next one I have here is a short story. This is Where We Talk Things Out by Caitlin McCrew. So this is fun and fast, and it's kind of like a misery situation, where you know there's this two people trapped, and one of them wants something and the other one wants nothing to do with it. Yeah, a cross between Stephen King's Misery and Darling Rose Gold. I'm gonna add Darling Rose Gold into my TBR now because of this. But anyways, in this you follow Miller, who has a really distraught relationship with her mother Sylvie, and Sylvie wants to make it up to her. So she invites her to a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and Miller wants to give her a chance, even though her mum doesn't agree with her girlfriend and his her whole life downed her and made her feel horrible. She still wants to give her mother a shot, and that may be her biggest downfall, is giving someone a second chance, even if it is her mother. This is fast. I read this so quick. I read this in like a day, and it's told in like time, like days and times. So you kind of just follow them through a couple of days, and things just gradually start getting worse and worse. And by the time you get to the end of this book, this novella. By the time you get to the end of this novella, you're like, damn. So if you're looking for something that is isolated setting, mother daughter distraught relationship, kind of like a second chance horror. Instead of a second chance romance, this is a second chance horror. In this, the main character gives someone a second chance and it turns horrific. So if you're looking for that, this doesn't gore level, I would say, again, mild. We're still in the mild region. I would say there's slightly more gore in dark places in this than there is on like the YA side of things, but this is still like very, very mild. I would say that you don't even, need to worry about it. Like, there's no body horror. There's like a few accidental scuffs and scrapes, non-accidental scuffs and scrapes, but nothing to be like overly worried about, I suppose. Next is one that we're starting to creep up the gore and detail line, and it is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I actually read this on a recommendation telling me that this would disturb me, and it did not disappoint. So now I'm recommending you this so that it can disturb you the way that it disturbed me. So in this, you follow Claire, who has like the best life. She has a loving husband, a great home, wants for nothing really, I would say. But her big sister did go missing while she was younger, and recently another girl's went missing under similar circumstances, and they may be linked. So Claire has to figure out what is happening, because her sister's disappearance may be linked with a new girl's disappearance, and her husband is like, they get mugged and then he dies, and she starts figuring things out about his life, and she just kind of feels left on the wrong foot, because she is now in a position where loads of things are happening all at once. And this is disturbing. This is going into more like I would say it's taken it out of mild gore and going into like a little bit more detail. So if there is some things, this book is makes you so uncomfortable, especially, you know, halfway towards the end, you sit there and you're like, oh, that's, you know, and you really feel for the characters. And Karen Slaughter done a good job at making this book edge into horror, I think. Like, this is a mystery thriller, but with the revelations that come along, it starts to feel more like a horror book. And I kind of feel like I was watching an episode of Criminal Minds. I love Criminal Minds, and this kind of gave me that same feeling, and I think that's why I loved this so much, because it was done so well. It disturbed me, it done exactly what it said on the tin, it surprised me, and it also felt like a Criminal Minds episode. So if you like Criminal Minds, this could be a good one for you to pick up. Please look up trigger warnings for this one, because you will need them. Now, the next one, it may seem weird to have this one in this position because there's not guts and gore. And we're starting to edge into guts and gore territory despite this one. But this needs to be so high up on the list because this will make your skin crawl. It is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This follows Vanessa, who is 15 when she starts to get groomed by a teacher. This is not for the faint of heart. It has no guts and gore. It does give a little bit of detail, which is why it's so disturbing and uncomfortable. Mostly, this just makes your heart bleed. I just got interrupted by a phone call. Not the right time, not the right time. This will make your skin crawl. It will make your heart bleed. It will disturb you. Am I getting another phone call? No. Okay. I keep getting, like, people keep phoning me, and I'm like, not the right time, not the right time. So, I don't know. Like, look up all the triggers for this one. There is no guts and gore, but there is overly detailed things. And expect to come out of this feeling vulnerable, because this puts you in the mindset of a very vulnerable young woman, a young girl, and all you want to do is just hug her and squeeze the life out of someone, and you just can't. So I would look up all the trigger warnings. This one is kind of like an oddball on the list because it's disturbing in a completely different way than Guts and Gore. And I love this book, but I hate this book. It was written so well. I'm actually stalking Kate Elizabeth Russell's Instagram because I am just waiting for her to take out another book. Pointing his pen at the page, Mr. Strain whispers, Nessa, I have to ask you, did you mean to sound sexy here? My eyes dart to the lines he's pointing at. Violet-bellied and mild, she stirs in her sleep, kicking back blankets with chipped, polished toes, yawning wide to let him peer inside her. The question makes me split off from myself, like my body stays beside his while my brain retreats to the seminar table. No one has ever called me sexy before, and only my parents call me Nessa. Read this, and then come cry with me. Okay? Please. The last two that I have here are look up all the content warnings, look up all the trigger warnings. These are dark. Oh, wait, I actually have three left. I have three left. The last three are look everything up. Look everything up, please and thank you. So the next one is The Groomer by John Nathan, and I picked this up at the same time I picked up Pretty Girls because of the disturbing recommendation. And in this you follow a family whose child is abducted, and it is, you know, a dad vigilante trying to find his child and exacting revenge on pedophiles. So this is not for the faint of heart. This has body gore up and down. There was one part in this book that made me feel physically sick, and I really liked it. I did. I gave it 4 stars. I'm probably going to buy a copy for my shelves. It's a really, really weird one where I feel weird talking and recommending and enjoying this book, but I'm not going to lie when I enjoy something. And it was done in a way that made you uncomfortable. Sorry. It's done in a way that makes you uncomfortable, makes you, like, I was like feeling physically sick at some point or another. Do not go into this book if you are not looking for something that will disturb the show. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. It is a whole thing in and of itself. I actually have a full review of this, so if I have any reviews for any of these books, I'll leave them either linked in the description or up above so that you can watch more of what I thought. But yeah, this was a ride, and I kind of liked it, and I will be reading more John Nathan in the future. The next one is Come Out Wherever You Are. This is by Harley Beck, I believe. I picked this up on a whim because this was erotic horror. I had no idea this existed. None whatsoever. I liked that at the start of this book there was a big tagline saying this is not a romance, because it is not a romance. I cannot remember the main character's name right now, and that's going to piss me off because I actually gave this 4 stars. And trying to explain this book, it's like a fever dream. It's like a fever dream book, and I had a bloody blast. I also did ask the author, all of the characters in this book, when the nasty shit starts happening, is 18, so just in case you like need them to be older, they are 18 when the freaky shit starts happening. So essentially the main character and her friend run over the all-star champion, like the quarterback, the popular guy. They run him over when they're drunk and hide the body. I'm getting so many messages. I swear, I'm not actually that popular. Apparently when I start filming, everyone I know feels like they need to text me. I don't get this much text as when I'm not filming. So yeah, anyway. The main character and her friend kill this guy and they like cover up the body, but then this main character, and I'm annoyed that I can't remember her name right now, she starts seeing him, and like not just like she starts seeing his ghost, and he's doing really weird shit to her, and she's dreaming of him, and it's just from there it goes somewhere, and you're not quite sure what's going on because you're like, you killed him, now you're seeing his ghost, you're delusional, but then in a situation where there's friends there, someone addresses him and you're like, is he actually not dead? And you just thought you killed him? Like, this is a fucked up fever dream. And if you want something that is going to keep you guessing and make you feel like you're delusional, then read this. But again, all the content warnings, because there is a lot of shit that goes down in this book that I would not want you to go in unprepared. Speaking about unprepared, we shall go on to my most disturbing books that I have read and recommend, which is Gone to See the Riverman and Along the River of Flesh. These are both 4.5 stars for me, and I honestly think they would be 5 stars upon reread, because these are some fucked up shit, but I was having a ball. I was having a ball so much that I bought physical editions because I read them on my Kindle. So in Gone to See the Riverman, content warnings. I cannot say it enough. I feel like this whole video just content warnings because it's disturbing books, but the more you go up the list, the more I need to shout it at you. And I don't mean to like be, what's the word? I don't mean to pander to you. I don't mean to like condescend, because I know that, you know, if I'm saying content warnings, you're going to look after your brain, but I would really hate for I would really hate for someone to jump in to a book on my recommendation and, get triggered. So, yeah. In this, you follow Laurie, who is having a pen pal relationship with a serial killer, and he asks her a favor. Now, nothing ever comes good from asking. Like, if a serial killer asks you for a favor, you're fucked, essentially. So, she does, and the favor is to go to the river, find the key, bring it to the Riverman, and everything will work out. She doesn't need to know any more than that. The only thing is the serial killer that she is pen paling is really, really gross. And he likes to chop people up and, have sex with their heads and nothing nice. Nothing nice, okay? And then you go along this book and you're reading and you're like, okay, maybe Laurie isn't a good person. And then you're like, okay, Laurie is not a good person. And then you get to the end and you're like, oh my god, everything's so fucked up. Every character is so fucked up. The setting is so good though. Like, on the river in both of these books is fucking fabulous. And like in this one as well, you actually start to feel bad for a character, and like in the midst of all this guts and gore, absolute mindfuckery, you start feeling like really bad for a character, and you're like, oh, that's a new element of emotion that I didn't have, because you feel bad for a certain character in here, but the character is not actively in present tense, but the character in this is present tense. This is, maybe I should bump these up to a 5-star, because my sick, twisted little brain had a fucking blast with these. So if you're looking for something, they're really short as well. If you're looking for something short, extremely disturbing, fucked up, crazy, read these two, because they will deliver. So that is 10, with a couple of honorable mentions through the way. Books that I recommend if you want to be disturbed. Again, from least disturbing to most disturbing, I would say look up Content Warnings, and I just want you to know that if you read any of these books, my Instagram is linked down below. Message me. Message me and let me know what you think. Or if you've read any of them, let me know in the comments if if you would like to read more, or if you would like, if you have any recommendations for me for crazy shit, then recommend them down in the comments too, because I will give anything a try. I DNF if I don't like something, but I will give anything a try. And these are some of my favorite disturbing books, so I really hope that you find something that, hits for you. And if you do, let me know in the comments. So thank you so very much for watching. Remember to have a great day, a great week, a great weekend. Whenever you're watching this, remember to stay safe, happy, and healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Pick it up from the top, hit restart. So far it's been